We're back, and these guys can't stop talking. The House passing the debt bill and sending the legislation to the Senate today. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Jim Hines of Connecticut. We had him on yesterday. We're going to get his views today. And now Republican Congressman Cory Gardner of Colorado. Jim, I'm going to start with you only because we're going to finish up on our conversation yesterday. You voted for the bill, I believe, correct?
Yep, voted for the bill.
Tell me, now that it's done, if we believe it's done, what's going to happen this fall? Because everyone who voted for the bill is assuming that it's going to go their way come this fall. Does it go your way, and how does that actually work in practice?
Well, it's not just this fall, right? So this committee now gets constituted with 12 members, 6 from the Senate, 6 from the House. And that committee does its work and reports by November 23rd. Big controversy on the Hill. Will it include revenues? Is that allowed? Obviously that'll play out. The House will vote in December on whatever they propose.
Let's go back to that revenue aspect, though. We did debate that yesterday. There was a lot of uncertainty around, is there a possibility for revenue? Boehner saying revenue's off the table. The president saying revenue's on the table.
Yeah, well, we heard from Jack Lew and the vice president yesterday, and it would seem that there's absolutely no structural reason why revenue is off the table. Now, I know John Boehner said that to his conference, but most people are saying that there's nothing in this bill, and I've read it myself, that takes revenue off the table. This isn't important for 2 reasons. One is political, one is not. The apolitical reason is that, one thing we're not talking a lot about with respect to this package is, as big as it is, as tough as it was for an awful lot of people to swallow, as David will tell you, it is not adequate to the task. Most economists are saying you need $4 trillion over 10 years. This was 2.3 or something. So we've got a lot more to do, a lot more pain to be borne. The political statement I need to make is that an awful lot of people, and by the way, not just Democrats, are saying what a missed opportunity, not just to reform the tax code, but actually to look at everybody, including the very highest earners, many of whom I represent, and say, hey, you get to be part of this adjustment too. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of people dissatisfied because in this round of this, that was not what we got.
Jim, I want to bring Congressman Gardner into the conversation for 1 sec, but I do want to follow up with you on one particular point, which is you said that you wanted a bigger package. I assume that included revenue, but I assume that would have also included greater cuts. And where would have those cuts ultimately come from?
Well, speaking for myself, and I was a fan, a reluctant fan, because nobody's ever, an adamant fan of any of these packages, but I was a reluctant fan of the Gang of 6 proposal, which mirrored Simpson Bowles and did about $3 of cuts for every dollar of revenue. Now, I can't tell you if that's exactly right, but you know what? That's not too far off. So to get us to $4 trillion, I'd like to see us go down the Gang of 6 path and, roughly keep that ratio.
Fair enough. Congressman Gardner, the revenue issue, that is going to be the issue du jour, I think, when everybody comes back from vacation. You see it how?
Well, if anything has taken taxes off the table, it's the economy. An economy with GDP growth of 0.4%, revised downward 1.8% this last quarter. I mean, this economy cannot handle tax increases, and there is a consistent drive from the White House and the minority party in the House, the majority party in the Senate, to increase taxes. Our economy cannot afford job-killing tax increases.
Andrew, I have to note there, and my hat is off to the Republicans on this. Most economists will tell you that an economy that's in a lot of trouble, will not benefit from tax increases, but will not benefit from cuts in fiscal demand either. By the way, Chairman of the Federal Reserve lists as one of the top 4 reasons why the economy is stumbling fiscal adjustment at every level of government. My hat's off to the Republicans for somehow convincing the American public that tax increases would be more economically harmful than
package was $1 trillion.
Okay.
And the stimulus package was failed. It didn't create jobs. We know it was a failure.
Okay,
there's not a reason.
We got everybody talking over each other.
Tell me where it succeeded. Are there jobs, unemployment?
You know what? That's another thing. The Republicans are peddling this thing that failed. Look, when all of us took office in 2009, this economy was losing 800,000 jobs a month. Nobody's happy about where we are today.
Are we better off today than we were?
We are in a radically different place today.
Congressman Hines, let's let Congressman Gardner get in for 1 sec.
Are we better off today than we were? I think the blame seems to go back to 4 or 5. No question. Americans are doing great. The unemployment level's going down. People are finding the jobs that they need. Our debt is being reduced. I mean, you're saying that things are getting better? It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous to think that we are in a better condition.
Okay,
I think this country deserves the truth.
Guys, before we go, I want to bring David Walker into the conversation for 1 moment. David.
First, I would respectfully suggest that there's nothing in the bill that says that taxes are off the table if part of comprehensive tax reform. But realistically, politically, it's going to be difficult to see something like that passed before the 2012 election. What I would ask is, Congressman Gardner, don't we need comprehensive tax reform that will generate more revenues?
And we talked about that, and I believe that was negotiated at the White House and was something that they were trying to get to until an additional $400 billion in tax increases was demanded by the White House.
And David, hold on, David, don't dodge the question. Did we get our bang for our buck for that $800 billion? Yes or no?
Did we get our bang for?
No. All right. Thank you.
Okay, we got to go. Congressman Hans, Congressman Gardner, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Not even close.
Michelle.